How you doing?
Before we get started officially, I understand we have a guest in the audience, our new, what is your title?
Oh, hi, I'm Community Development Director.
Community Development Director. Why don't you come on up to the podium and introduce yourself?
Didn't even know I was going to do this.
Well, good evening. My name's Mike Sherman. I'm the Community Development Director. Been here since the middle of June. I've really enjoyed myself since I've been here. Worked in a number of local governments and private companies. Kind of old. I've done it for about almost 35 years. And born and raised in Pinellas County. I live in Dade City right now, so it's a pretty nice.
How does your duty differ from Greg Foley's?
So I'm managing the department. By education and practice, I'm a city planner.
Okay.
And this position has been building officials for many years now. So I kind of look at things starting from a little bit different. I start with land planning and planning from everything. Everything starts from the bottom up, I believe. So I'm working with our building official now. He's working on managing that division. We've got a contract building official right now. I'm working on managing the department and working on a few large not projects, but initiatives that I think need to be done to make the department run a little smoother, run a little more similar to what I'm used to.
Okay. Cool.
But it's good to be here.
Good. Well, thanks for coming. I know you weren't planning on saying anything. And
No, thank you for, but thank you for
asking.
asking me to say something. I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, our October 12, 2022 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is now called to order. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented this evening. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have we'll have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may ask questions of any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. This time, I'd like to ask all persons who expect to give testimony this evening to please stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Please raise your right hand. You plan to speak tonight. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. As per our normal operations, we will be taking cases out of order tonight. Our first case is going to be case number 223010, City versus Temple Terrace LLC. Okay. And with that, we'll go to our next ex parte communications. At this time, I'd like to ask all board members if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any matters before the Code Enforcement Board this evening. If you've had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you received any written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide the city clerk a copy to be filed in the record.
None.
I've had none.
I've had none.
Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to receive and review the minutes of September 14th, 2022? Does anybody have any additions or changes? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second. No.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, our first hearing again is going to be case number 22-3010, City versus Temple Terrace LLC.
Case number 22-33010, City versus Temple Terrace LLC for the property located at 11308 North 56th Street. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828A1 permits application required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. On June the 13th, 2022, I was contacted via email by City Arborist Joe Ferris requesting a notice of violation to be completed referencing the open stop work order at the site for tree removals on the south side of the business without a permit. At that time, I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of June 28th, 2022. Affidavit of service was obtained by hand delivery to manager Aaron Hansen. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on October the 10th, 2022. It's a copy of the site on Google showing the 2 trees on the south side of the property and a screenshot of the stop work order in Central Square.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Exhibit number 1 shows the business on Google's website showing the 2 trees on the south side of the site. Exhibit number 2 and 3 shows that the tree stumps after removal of the laurel oaks. Exhibit number 4 shows the screenshot of the stop work order in Central Square. Mr. Chairman, Joe Ferris has reached out by email several times since June to facilities managers Kevin Rye to discuss the violation and ways to bring the property into compliance, but has not been contacted back. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling. Mr. Ferris is here this evening and would like to address the board, sir.
Very good. Before you step down, any questions for the code officer?
That would be a better question posed for the arborist, sir.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The photograph shows that it looks like the trees are dead. Is that true?
No, sir. They were definitely not dead. They were alive.
They look sick anyway. There wasn't any leaves on them according to this picture. I don't know if that's the right picture or not.
Can I come over, sir?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's these right here. These are the 2 trees. This and this.
Oh, those
This
two.
actually is in our parking lot.
Oh,
right
not,
here.
oh, not that one or this one. So I was looking at the right two. It's the left two.
Yes, sir. It's this tree and this.
Oh,
tree.
that's very different. Yeah, okay. That's very different.
Any other
Those are
questions?
alive.
Question. What would it take to bring the property into compliance? Is it just a matter of getting the permits?
Again, David, it would be better posed a question for Mr. Ferris.
sorry.
He's the arborist. As far as what it would take to bring the property into compliance, he is here this evening, and you may ask him that when he comes up.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
ahead.
I mean, why is this even the case? In other words, why didn't they go ahead, once they're notified, and just got the permit?
Sir, again,
You don't know
Why it
that.
is the case.
here.
But you don't know why, though.
no, sir, I don't, because I was never contacted myself.
Okay, I got you.
No
I got
one
it.
reached out to me from the business
Yeah.
or Mr. Ferris pertaining to the violation, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll hear
We have
about
no response whatsoever from them.
Well,
From
let-
them violating.
it. Hang on, let Joe come up.
Yeah, he's gonna explain.
Okay.
Yes, he would definitely be able to shed.
Sitting there
some light
waiting.
on
Watching a
those.
movie with my wife. Just watch the movie. All your answers will, all the questions will be answered.
But why?
Mr. Ferris?
Good evening, Joe Ferris, City Arborist. To answer a lot of your questions that you have, originally I had received email from Kevin Rye on March 1st requesting information on what it would take to remove 12 oaks on the property. Originally, they wanted to remove the 2 that are in that photo, as well as all the live oaks that are along the north and west side of the property. And I explained to him that these are protected trees. They would have to, if I approved them, there would be mitigation involved So it went back a few emails about what's involved in mitigation and the process. Once I had taken a look at it, which was, let me find the email, sorry, there's just a series of these. I believe it was the 8th of March. I emailed back that I had evaluated the trees. The two on the side were laurel oaks, 12 inches in diameter. Both of them were in decline, but still had life in them, so they still would require, I was approving the removal based on the condition of the trees. The live oaks along the property line, I was not approving those. Those were not going to be removed. And he explained that the mitigation would be required, and it's based on the size of the tree, and that the tree service, whoever they hired, would have to pull a permit. So the emails went out on that. The 25th of April, we received a permit application with the contractor listed as Nicholas Quayling, who is an arborist who's not, at the time, was not registered with the city. So the email went back to let them know in order to issue this permit, the contractor, the arborist, would have to be registered. Then a series of emails went back and forth that as a registered arborist, he doesn't carry liability. And again, they went back and the emails, and I have a series of them that went back and forth about what he needed to do. We couldn't issue to this Kevin because he's not the property owner. Quayling would have to have the requirement. So tree services have to have general liability, workers' comp, and a business tax receipt showing where their business is registered. That wasn't getting done, and then around June, or prior to that, notice come in one day, the trees were gone. So they were removed at some point, I'm assuming over a weekend. So then I emailed to let this Kevin know that the trees have been removed, a stop work order is placed on the property, and there would be a fine for the mitigation. I went with the size. Based on our code, 12 inches requires 4 3-inch trees for equivalent replacement. So two 12-inch trees would be 8 trees replaced at $300 per tree. I think it was around $2,400 maybe, and the cost of the permit. And it went back and forth on what was required, and no other permit had been submitted. Quayling did register himself, but for another property. After I looked at those trees and approved them, he pulled the permit for another arborist or company to take those trees down, but nothing has been pulled yet on this one.
When's the last time you had any communications with him?
That would be, let's check here. June 17th
Okay.
was the last one, where I explained again what is required. Several of his emails, he wasn't understanding, and I had repeated over and over in every email, this is what's required, this is the penalty, this is what happens, you remove these without.
So he's aware of what the mitigation is.
Yeah, there was plenty of emails that went out that,
You have copies of those emails?
I can give you the set I have.
Give it to the council.
Sure.
Give it to Ernie. So last communication was mid-June.
Was mid-June, yes.
He was made aware of what the mitigation would be. The 2 trees are gone. Have they taken any other trees down since then?
They haven't since then. One of the last communications was they were going to replant. I said, do you have a landscape plan for this? What was here was part of what was originally approved by the council when this was originally built. So I asked to see, what are you proposing to replant? And that was the last of
Just for my education, he can put in trees or do a combination of.
Yeah, he could do a
money
combination,
and
yes,
trees, right?
yes. And
Okay.
I went a little bit lighter than what I could have as far as the terms of mitigating. I went with the standard to give them a break because the room really isn't there to replant even these 8. I'm not sure where they.
Yeah, I don't know where they put them, yeah.
If I had gone with the actual penalty that's in our code, it would have essentially tripled how many would have need to be replaced. So I was
Yeah.
basically giving them a little bit of a break.
Understood.
So, but yes, they could have done a combination, which is why I was asking for a landscape plan.
Yeah.
To see, what are you planting? Is it what we consider to be a canopy or shade tree? And that was the last of the communications. I never received any type of landscape plan.
Any questions? Go ahead.
So are we considering as far as any type of violation or fine, are the mitigation cost part of this, or is it strictly the fact he doesn't have permits for the property?
Well, the trees would have to be mitigated. It would be 8 trees.
Is that part of the,
No, our task tonight is to determine whether or not a violation has
Right.
occurred. That violation is not getting a permit to cut the trees down. We just determined that.
Yeah.
As far as any mitigation, that would be part of the permit process.
right, that's what I
So all
thought, the
we're-
city would handle that.
Yeah, the city would handle that. All we're determining is whether or not a violation occurred. If that violation occurred, what is the fine, the per day fine until he brings back into compliance. That compliance is getting the permit. Part of the permit process would be the mitigation plan.
That's what I thought.
Go ahead.
I heard what you said, and I think I know, but I'm not sure. In a nutshell, what should he have done, and how much would it have cost to cut down those 2 trees? Besides the cost of the cutting, I mean, just for the city.
What I end up deciding for the penalty is what he would have had to done from the beginning.
Which is,
It is for a 4-inch tree, or a 12-inch tree. According to our code, it's 4 3-inch trees for mitigation. So he still would have had to mitigate 8 trees.
Yeah, I got
It could have been a combination of, maybe they could have planted 3 or 4 of
what
them.
was the cost of the permit that he didn't?
Oh, I'm sorry, the cost was $65.50 for the cost of a permit,
$65 for each tree, or
No, no.
just one time,
$65 for the permit.
for the permit,
permit.
yes. But we placed the stop work order on this, so there's that additional charge now that will be along with the permit.
So it looks like he would have done that because it's not very much money, but and of course, he had to have gotten an arborist that's a licensed arborist and that's registered with the city of Temple.
He would,
Terrace.
yeah, someone that would have been registered. The company, the tree service would have had to been registered in order for us to issue a permit.
Well, I guess my point is, it doesn't seem like it was too much for him to do. It seemed like he would have done that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, he can't get into the client's.
Well, it makes a difference to me.
Well,
It makes a difference to me.
I
And maybe to
understand
someone
that,
else
but-
on
but
this,
this
and
is
this panel here.
This particular piece of the portion of the meeting is questions for him. If you have things that you want to discuss, we'll do that during the discussion
Well,
period.
he would know, and you wouldn't know that necessarily, so.
Well, he's not going to know what's in the.
Well, he answered my
respondent's
question
statement.
quite well. Yeah, he answered my question well, so, it's good.
Any other questions for the arborist? Seeing none, thank you. Sit down.
You're welcome.
And is the respondent here? Okay. So since the respondent is not here, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll try that.
Thank you.
In case number 223010, I move that the city has proven by the regulatory evidence.
Your mic, Rod?
In case number 22-3010, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 11308 North 56th Street with a violation for section 8-28 subsection A, subsection 1, permit application required. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer and Lori Smith, and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation, all which is received and entered as part of this record and hearing. I further move that the city violation be corrected on or before, or next meeting,
November 9th.
November 9, 2022. If the respondent does not comply with this order, on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past that date for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violation committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $50 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
A second.
Motion is second, any further discussion?
Yeah, I think it should be our standard $25 per day.
Yeah, I agree. I would like an explanation on why you think it should be $50 per day.
It's because mid-June and now we are in October and we're not having any response. I know he had an effort and ample time, and I agree that it's a simple situation. He can mitigate, and it's very, very simple, but they're ignoring this fact, and I just wanted to put a little bit of pressure on them. That's about it, because also you're looking at a mitigation cost of $2,400. So that's why I chose the $50 per day.
I would feel just the opposite. Just because he's gonna get stuck with a huge fine, we don't need to add another $25
Well,
per day on top of
he
that.
will eventually, between now and then, it's a very simple way. If the arborist that he hired, from what I understood, is registered in the city, he can pull the permit and life will go forward, you know. That's how I felt, so.
Something else to consider too is that he flagrantly disregarded the stop work order,
And yeah,
right? Which kind of in the context of things that we've
That's-
decided in the past,
to me, because
it's like a multiple violation scenario. And usually we fine.
I feel
$125 for a
that
multi-
he would have done the rest of the
One at a
trees.
time, one at a time.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I felt like also there's other trees, and I come from a background, I like to protect trees, but if they're removable, they're sick, if they're, you know, it's a very simple way, and it's very easy, and we have, as he said, he already also gave him a break, because when you do a violation, and I know that in the code and in the Hillsborough County Code too, if you remove a tree, you'll get double, and he did not charge him double, so he gave him a break already, so I felt like
I think the fact he ignored a work order is enough to justify.
What is it?
Anyway.
Yeah, that's why I based it, I raised it a little bit.
Yes, sir, Ernie.
Just want to clarify something. The $2,400 is not a fine. That's a mitigation cost.
Yeah.
He would have had to pay that even if he had gotten the permit and done everything correctly.
True.
So I want to make sure you realize that's not like a fine. That is actually a cost.
He has to pay it anyway, yeah. That's the cost of the trees.
And it can be a combination of trees and/or monies, yeah.
Ernie,
But he did mention that the 2,400 could have been more if he had,
Could have been double.
Yeah.
2,400.
yeah. But that's still mitigation cost, has nothing to do with being penalized or anything, so. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One nay, motion carries. Next case. Our next case will be under unfinished business. It'll be case number 22-2605.
Yes. Case number 222605, City versus New Plaza LLC for the property located at 8650 North 56th Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight, and the respondent is here.
Okay, state your name and address for the record, and then give us, before you get started, just give us kind of a brief history of why you're here.
Sure.
Okay, so that we can jog our memory.
Yes,
Okay.
good evening. My name is Ahmad, and on behalf of New Plaza LLC, 8650 North 56th Street, Terrace, Florida, 33617. The reason why the job has not been completed because we've been going back and forth with the insurance company.
Okay, what is the job?
The job it's a sign
Okay,
by the road. An accident happened. It was back in I believe June or July.
Ernie, did you want to see this first? Okay,
Yeah, so the vehicle hit the sign, and we've been communicating with the insurance company and the signage company back and forth for the past 2 months, and we finally got an answer from them. So we would like to request a 30 days extension, please.
okay.
If it's possible, we'll get it taken care of.
How long ago did how long has this been damaged? When did the accident occur?
It's been damaged for, let's see the date.
Okay, that's what I thought, but
Yeah, it's since August, I'm sorry.
just a few months, okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know, just a couple months, 2-3 months.
That's the metro.
And-
Yeah.
And as far as the settlement you received, I mean, you said you came to an agreement that means you'll be able to proceed with getting the repairs done?
Yes,
And you think you can have it done in 30 days?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Quick question. Is it Mr. Ahmad or Ahmad?
Mohammed,
Oh, well, Muhammad.
yes.
You said you're here on behalf of New Plaza. Are you the president? Are you,
No, I just work for the company.
okay, but you've been authorized to speak
Yes,
for
sir.
them here? All right.
Any other questions for the respondent? Thank you, sir. If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll do this one.
Sure, thank you.
All right, in case number 22-2605, I move that the violation of section 12-986 sign maintenance the deadline for that be moved out 1 month until November 9th, 2022.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Okay, so you've got until November 9th. If the repairs are not finished by November 9th, we'll see you back here. All right, thank you. Good luck. Okay, so we're going to start back at the beginning with case number 22-2114.
The first case should be 0931.
0931, did I miss one? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay.
So that is case 220931, City versus Steve Waddell for the property located at 11008 North 61st Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 12921, parking residential property. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case was originated by Director Baroni on June the 13th, 2022. My inspection revealed one vehicle parked on the front grass and another vehicle parked in the rear yard on the north side of the property. At that time, I left a door hanger with reinspection date of June 14th, 2022. My inspection on June 17th, 2022 revealed there were now two vehicles parked behind the north side fence and the vehicle on the front yard grass had been removed. I contacted Steve Waddell and left a voicemail. Steve called me back the same day and asked for a copy of the Muni Code. I dropped one off at his house later that same day. Steve and I discussed the parking code and I educated him on approved surface materials for expanding the driveway. Steve also advised the yellow vehicle behind the fence was his ex-wife's vehicle who was having serious health issues. Steve asked for more time to figure out what he was going to do with her vehicle. I granted him an extension until July the 11th, 2022. My inspection on July the 18th, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of July the 27th, 2022. I posted the notice letter at the front property line as this is a no trespassing and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on July the 18th, 2022.
We'll set that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front property line. Exhibit number 2 shows the vehicle parked in the rear yard on substandard material grass. As of today's date, the site is now in compliance, and at this time, I would like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm just seeking a finding.
Very good. We'll accept that. Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Thank you. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay. In case number 22-00000931, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence of the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code that exist on the property. Property located at 11008 North 61st Street in Temple Terrace. And according to the violation of the City Code 12-921. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Laurie Smith, along with other evidence, including photos, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations are brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 22-2114, City versus Joseph V. Mills for the property located at 6713 Jennifer Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8, 102.13H, windows and exterior doors maintained in good repair. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on April the 21st, 2022. My inspection revealed the north side wooden fence in disrepair, sidewalk was heavily stained with mildew, and the garage door it was in disrepair. At that time, I left 3 door hangers with the reinspection date of May 2nd and May 20th, 2022. My inspection on May the 23rd, 2022 revealed 3 sections of wooden fence on the north side of the property had been replaced and the sidewalk was pressure washed. However, the garage door was not properly fitted within the frame, nor was it weather tight. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 8th of June, 2022. No one was at home, so I did post the notice letter at the front door and requested its copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on May the 24th, 2022, showing the violations.
We'll accept that. Thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the garage door. It's not being maintained in good repair. Exhibit number 3 shows the garage door is not weather tight. As of today's date, the site is now in compliance, and at this time, I would like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm just seeking a finding.
Very good. We'll accept that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
Do this one. I got. In case number 22-2114, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace did exist in the property located at 6713 Jennifer Drive. Sorry. 8-102, subsection 13, subsection 8. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations are brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 22-2651, City versus Adil, Tajri, Claudia, Castelblanco, and Marcela, Pena for the property located at 12206 North 52nd Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12861E6, fences appearance. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on May the 17th, 2022. My inspection revealed the chain link fence gate and fence section in disrepair on the south side of the property. At that time, I requested a door hanger be mailed to the owner of record, as this is a vacant parcel with a reinspection date of June 2nd, 2022. My inspection on the 13th of June 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of June the 28th, 2022. The site is not occupied, so I did post the notice letter at the front gate and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on June the 13th, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front gate of the property. Exhibit number 2 shows the front fence gate and fence section in disrepair. As of today's date, the site is now in compliance. At this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance. I'm just looking for a finding.
Very good, we'll accept that, thank you.
Sir.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do this one.
Thank you.
In case number 22-6551, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation.
Hang on, please, you might, let
This-
me stop you right there. It's 2651, the case number.
Yes, in case number 2651, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 12206 North 52nd Street, with the applicable code 12-861 subsection E subsection 6. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and a notice of violation, all which is received and entered as part of this record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violation were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 22-3528, City versus Ahmad Abu Khalil for the property located at 11901 North 53rd Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12-860, an operative vehicle, outdoor storage equipment. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on June the 29th, 2022. My inspection revealed an inoperative vehicle with flat tires and an automotive cover that was ripped in half, partially covering the vehicle. At that time, I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of the 30th of June, 2022. My reinspection on July the 7th, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of July the 11th, 2022. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation that was taken by me on July the 7th and October the 4th, 2022.
We'll accept those, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the inoperative vehicle with no tag on the driveway. Exhibit number 3 shows the inoperative vehicle with no tag and flat tires on the driveway. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling.
Very good, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yes, in case number 22-3528, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 11901 North 53rd Street, and in violation of Code Section 12-860. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Laurie Smith, along with other evidence, including photos and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected on or before our next meeting, which is November the 9th, 2022. If the respondent does not comply with this order on before that day, they're ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past that date set for compliance, which is November the 9th. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation and any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine to be $25 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no nays. Next case, please.
Next case is case number 224538, City versus Dean Investments LLC for the property located at 9243 Overlook Drive, A and B. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12921 parking residential property. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on August 17th, 2022, for a vehicle parked in the yard. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of August 19th. My reinspection on August 31st, 2022 showed no change, so I generated a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of September 7th, 2022. Posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed both regular and certified mail to the owner of record. My reinspection on September 22nd showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing and scheduled the case for the October Municipal Code Board meeting. I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on August 31st and September 22nd, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibit number 2 shows the vehicle parked in the yard. At this time, the site is in compliance, and I'm seeking a finding and would like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
We'll accept that, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll do this one. All right, case number 22-4538. I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 9243 Overlook Drive, A and B. The code violation is section 12-921. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that no fine be imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
The next case is case number 224618, City versus Estate of Antonio and Dukes for the property located at 512 Caroline Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10(3)B sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated proactively on August 22nd, 2022. My inspection that day noted overgrown conditions throughout the yard. Based on the history with this property owner on overgrown conditions, a notice of violation was generated that same day with a compliance date of August 29th, 2022. I also posted the notice letter at the front door of the violation and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. On September 15th, 2022, my reinspection noted no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me. Exhibit number 1 shows the front door posting of the notice letter. Exhibit number 2 shows the overgrown conditions throughout the yard that was taken on September 16th, 2022. I'd like to submit it this time.
We'll accept that, thank you. Good job, Lori.
Keeping his seat warm.
That's how you get a promotion.
Any questions for the code director?
As of today, there has been no change, therefore the property remains out of compliance.
Oh, okay. But I have a question.
Sure.
You said, this is the first time I hear history, you kind of like you warned him a lot before? And
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's
so
why I picked up on that.
the door hanger is just really used to educate the public as far as the code. So since I have a history here at that property with overgrown conditions, I just bypassed the door hanger.
Sounded like a repeated offender.
No, it's not a repeat violation. It's just that they're just common, they know code enforcement as far as overgrown condition. They know the required height, and that's why I just generated a notice of violation.
Constant reminder, not a constant violation.
A constant reminder.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Do they offer an explanation as to why they let it get that long?
No, he just feels as though that a lien would only last 90 days on his property. And I try to educate him that the lien continues to run until the violation is corrected. But he feels as though that it's only gonna last for 90 days.
So he's doing a cost benefit analysis and saying it's cheaper for me to just pay a fine than cut my grass?
That's correct.
Okay.
But I try to educate him, and
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
thank you.
Your time.
Yeah, I'll take this one. In case number 224618, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the city's Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 512 Caroline Street. Violation 10-3, subsection B. This motion is based on sworn testimony that this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before November 9th. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the set date for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I second that.
Mr. Chair, real quick, you said November 9th, just for the record, that would be November 9th, 2022.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Thank you for catching that. Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 224700, City versus Estate of David Torres for the property located at 9812 North 53rd Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 1035 sanitation abutting property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on August 24th, 2022 for vegetative growth on the city sidewalk. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of August 30th, 2022. My reinspection on September 12th showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on that date with a reinspection date of September 16th, 2022. I received service from Mrs. Torres on the notice of violation posting, and a copy of the notice of violation was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and first-class mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on September 22nd showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the October Municipal Code Board meeting. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on September 22nd, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the vegetative growth on the sidewalk, and as of this date, the site is in compliance, and I'm seeking a finding and would like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
We'll accept that, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Case number 224700, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 9812 North 53rd Street with the applicable code, section 10-35, sanitations abutting property. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation of which is received and entered as part of this record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violation were brought up into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Okay. Case number 22-4798, City versus Omar Mustafa for the property located at 102 Holland Avenue. Cases before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10.3b, sanitation grass weeds, and Section 8-102-13c, roofs maintaining good repair. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on August 29, 2022. My inspection that morning noted overgrown grass and weeds throughout the yard. I also noted tree debris on the roof shingles. This property has received several warnings from code staff related to overgrown conditions. Based on my findings that morning, a notice of violation was prepared that same day with the compliance date of September 5th, 2022. I posted the notice letter at the front door of the violation and requested copies to be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. On September 5th, my inspection noted that the yard was mowed. However, the tree debris still remained on the roof. Another inspection was done on the 21st of September, noting that the tree debris still remained on the roof. However, the grass violation did reoccur within the 45 days after the compliance date. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on August 30th, which is the day I posted the NOV, and September 22nd, 2022 for the overgrown conditions and the tree debris that was on the roof. I'd like to submit it
We'll
this time.
accept that. Thank you.
You'll see that one photo has the overgrown grass and the tree debris up on the roof. It's all in one. So today's inspection noted that the roof debris and the overgrown conditions are now in compliance. Therefore, I'm looking for a finding.
You said it still exists?
No, it's in compliance.
Compliance.
Oh, compliance. I can do that.
Thank you. Any other questions for the code officer?
It was cleaned up by him or Hurricane
It was actually cleaned up by him. It's a rental property, but now it's going to be owner occupied. Okay?
Okay, yeah, in case number 22-4798, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 102 Holland Avenue and in violation of Code Section 10-3B and also 8-102-13C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Tom Baroni, along with other evidence, including photos, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. That completes our new business. On to unfinished.
Okay. Case number 21-7044. City versus Mutaz Marzouk for the property located at 7545 Terrace Bridge Drive. The extended deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight, and Director Brony is going to speak.
Yes, Mr. Marzuk reached out to our building official, Dallas Foss, today at 4 o'clock to kind of update him on the pertaining to the buffer wall in the rear of the property. He's been here several times requesting an extension.
This is the, where he landscaped and put up a wall, and you need to get
Yes,
a permit?
The city engineer's involved in it as well as the building official.
Okay.
So Mr. Marzuk has lost his dad this week, he passed away, and he'd like to be here tonight, but he requested that I speak for him to request an extension for 30 days. The city has no problem with 30 days extension.
Okay, we'll need a motion.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I move that the city grant Mr. Marzouk 30 days till November 9th, 2022, for the obtaining of the permit application for the violation of Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Does he need to specify the case number, or is it that real?
Did you? Yeah.
Okay,
Why don't you do the case number and the address?
Okay, in case number 217044, for the violation of Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1, for the site located at 7545 Terrace River Drive. I move that the city grant Mr. Marzouk 30 days till our next meeting on November 9th, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
A second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries.
Case number 227126, City versus Lujane Marzouk, for the property located at 13202 North 53rd Street. And that was actually case number 217126. For the property located at 13202 North 53rd Street, the deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance was submitted for two of the sections, 12901 and 1034, dated today, October 12th, 2022. And Officer Smith is going to provide an update.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. I spoke with Mr. Marzouk today. Like Director Baroni says, he had a passing in his family. He has two of the three violations in compliance and is requesting an extension to bring the third one into compliance, which would be the inoperative vehicle with no tag. He's definitely made an effort to bring the property into compliance. I think just with a little bit more time, he would bring this one into compliance as well, if the board would see fit to grant him an extension.
Just for my own edification, this particular case has a different first name. It says Lujane.
Yes, sir. It's Lujane. That is his wife.
Okay.
They could not be here tonight due to the family.
But it is related, the same father, father-in-law, whoever.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, up to code board, but if you're gonna entertain a extension, I'll need a motion.
I'll do this one.
Thank you.
Right, in case number 21-7126, for the property located at 13202 North 53rd Street, we will extend, I propose that we extend the deadline for the compliance for section 12-860 for 30 days until November 9th, 2022.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? No nays, motion carries.
Our next case will be case number 221021, City versus Ron Mogerman, TT Holdings LLC, for the property located at 12909 North 56th Street. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Smith for Section 81668B, dated October 12th, 2022.
Very good.
Case number 221022, 1767 City versus 12260 Group Inc. for the property located at 12260 Morris Bridge Road. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 222605, we already heard that one. And the next one is case number 222760, City versus Hyacinth Hamilton for the property located at 5211 Parade Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Doug Allen for Section 8, 10213C, dated September 21st, 2022. Case number 224110, City versus FNS Home Investment LLC for the property located at 7607 North Sanibel Circle. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance has been submitted by Officer Silva for Section 103B, dated October 10th, 2022.
Okay, on to lien reviews.
Yes.
Whoa.
It's actually not as bad as it used to be.
So we have one case in compliance on the quarterly liens list review. That case is case number 220953, City versus Tobias Gluck and Renee Gluck, 10608 North 52nd Street. The rest of the cases are not in compliance, and I will go ahead and read those into the record.
Okay.
So, so the one case you read, 220953, has been
Is complied.
settled and complied.
Yes,
Just
Yeah, they still got it.
complied.
So it had no lien.
No, it has a lien, but that lien has now stopped accruing as of the date of compliance.
Okay.
doesn't mean it's
They
been
still
paid.
owe that amount.
Doesn't mean it's been paid, just means that property's been brought into compliance.
Okay, great, because I would like that person that Tom mentioned, hopefully he's watching.
Okay, thank you.
Case number 080292, City versus Christopher B. York, 7604 Leon Avenue. Case number 172746, City versus James Stevens Johnson and Glenda Johnson, 104 Holland Avenue. Case number 194940, City versus Robert and Lisa M. McNeil, 9406 Hidden Ridge Place. Case number 201531, City versus Vincent R. and Cynthia J. Adkins, 5513 Temple Heights Road. Case number 210604, Anthony and Jillian Moore, 941 River Hills Avenue, 941 North River Hills Avenue. Case number 210786, City versus James and Joyce A.G. Evans, 11305 East Queensway Drive. Case number 211177, City versus Nicholas Drew Teeling and Rachel Teeling, 716 Druid Hills Road. Case number 213797, City versus John P. Ziegler, 306 South Burlingame Avenue. Case number 214324, City versus J.R. Premier Properties, LLC, 608 Courtney Drive. Case number 216306, City versus Nihad Darwish, 6319 East 113th Avenue. Case number 216307, City versus Alberto M. Barbon, 5415 Rainbow Drive. Case number 216926, City versus Khalil Abu Ahmad, 11901 North 53rd Street. Case number 220203, City versus Ron Mogerman, TT Holdings, LLC, 12909 North 56th Street. Case number 221067, City versus Rachel and Nicholas Drew Teeling, 716 Druid Hills Road. Case number 221432, City versus Saknarin and Chinjit Juklam, 5112 East 122nd Avenue. Case number 221492, City versus JR Premier Properties, LLC, 608 Courtney Drive. Case number 221989, City versus Estate of Antonio Andux, 5112 Caroline Street. Case number 225294, City versus Ron Mogerman, TT Holdings, LLC, 12909 North 56th Street.
Good, thank you.
Just curious, the asterisks on the left column, does that mean it's a homestead? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
If it has an asterisk next to the case number, that means it is a homestead property.
And the recorded date in the far column, that is when the,
We recorded the lien.
oh, okay. It doesn't mean it, so we don't even know if any of these are in compliance or,
No, no, none of them are. The only one was
The one you mentioned
220953. The rest of them are. That's what I'm saying right now.
All
The
the
rest
oth-
of them are out.
All of the other ones are not in compliance.
okay.
And the one that is in compliance doesn't mean that they paid the fine, it just means that they're in compliance. Any other questions? Anybody have any new business? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion is second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.